Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today with a little project that I promised to share that I made the other day. Well, I made two of these, and this is a coaster with some dried flowers inside. I've got a few bubbles here. I'm not an expert really at UV resin, but it was really easy to make, so I thought I'd share this in this video. What I have as a base here, I've already coloured this, I still need to colour it on the side, is a MDF coaster. I bought these really cheaply in Germany. You can use, well, any other coaster. You can use a shopboard coaster that's already got cork on it. I think it doesn't really matter. I've also got some wooden discs, but I think the problem with the wooden disc would be that the edge is not even when I need to place my tape down, so you will see at the moment what I mean with that. So the first thing I did with these actually is I put some gesso down because I wanted to cover this. Then I had a layer of white acrylic paint which didn't cover it completely. So then I had the idea to use this Simon Hurley Lunar paste in gold. You can still see my brush strokes there, and it's a bit uneven, but what I've used on this here underneath is gilding polish, metallic gilding polish. I've got them in various colours, and this stuff is great because it dries really quickly. It stays on all surfaces, so I will actually use this for the top this time. So when you get this, it's like a mousse. You've also got a sponge here at the top, which I haven't used in a while. Oops, there it is. So that's almost dried up, but I can try to use that. And when I used this one recently, I sprayed a little bit of water in there. I always do that before I put it away, so I might actually have enough moisture in there to use it. So I give that a try. I normally would put a tile or something, a non-porous surface on the side, and would mix this a little bit with water, but because I want this to dry quickly, I think I'm fine with just using this. Can you see the gnomes have almost disappeared? So depending on if you use a proper coaster that's got like a film on top, have a look if you can peel the film off, but I'm sure you can find something in your stash that you can cover your coasters with. I'm not doing the side just yet because I need to put some tape down on the side, so I will paint that afterwards. But look at that, you can just about see some dots there against the light, so I might just leave that to dry for a few minutes and give that another coat, and then I'll show you how I placed my dried flowers down. I have given my coaster 2 coatings, so this is nicely covered now. I've also made some more, as you can see here. I made 2 green ones because in my stash of dried flowers, and I thought I'd just show you how I dry my flowers, I actually found these hops that I harvested in my village a few months ago, and I'd completely forgotten about them because I just put things in the book. If with delicate flowers, I put in some layers of kitchen towel as well. I don't think there's anything else in here. I've got another book here, and this one's got some leaves in it. But what did I want to say? See, sometimes I put some kitchen towel in it with it. The only thing you need to be mindful of with the kitchen towel, if it's got a pattern on it, an embossed pattern, that might end up on your flowers, which it did here. Can you see that? But I'm not too bothered about that. Can't remember what the other thing I meant to say was. But anyway, I put these under some books, or we've got a cabinet, it's got a heavy laptop laying in it, so I sometimes just put the books in there. So you don't really need a flower press. It's nice to have one, but you don't really need it. So I have decided, the other thing I wanted to show you, which I'm going to give a try, I've got these puffy stickers or shaker stickers. I think these are really cool. I bought them for £1. I think they're from Primark. Yes, they're from Primark. So this is why I've got the purple coaster here. I give that a try to put that under resin. It might not work, it might react, it might leave bubbles. We'll see. but for the sake of the stickers, and these only cost me equivalent of 50p, I think I'll give it a try run. So with my other two coasters, I used collal glue to stick them down. But I'm having second thoughts about that because I think the collal might react with the resin. So this time I'm actually just using my precision craft glue. I think it's important that you stick these flowers down properly because I think if you got air trapped underneath, that will show afterwards as well. And I had a little play. I'm putting these flowers all the way facing the same way with the other coasters. I had them going in different directions. Also, I found I was a bit limited with the flowers I can use on the blue background, but I think I'm happy with my choice here. So I'm just dabbing this on. I just need to be mindful not to tear the flowers. So I'm also putting some of the stalk here. The main reason for putting glue on before is that they don't float when you pour the resin in. By the way, I'm not an experienced resin crafter. I'm doing trial and error. This usually works for me. I'm actually taking a little tool here so that I can balance this on here before I lay it down. This one's very delicate and wants to move. So, but I think I'm happy with the placement here. I'm not too bothered about the excess glue here. I think that will disappear anyway once I put the resin on. Don't think it will show up. So I'm pressing this down, trying to get rid of any air trapped underneath. Because as I said, that will leave you with bubbles. So, and I'm doing that same with the other flowers. I've got a forget-me-not here. This is a buttercup, I think, and don't know what this is. So I will be doing this off camera, and then I will leave this to dry thoroughly. I don't want the wet glue to react with my resin. I have added some of these letter sequins with the name of the recipient on here. I just put a bead of the glue on there and just stuck them down, and I think that will be okay. The rest has dried now, so I'm confident that it will work. I have got a tile underneath, but I need to say I've had a little bit of a setback, which is my cat decided to retire behind me, so I will not use the resin in this room, even if I open the window, which I can't really do today because the weather is horrendous. So I'll have to be mindful where I do this, but I want to show you how I prepare my coaster for the resin. I have got this tape. It came with a resin starter set. I actually bought a starter set from Let's Resin. I think I got this through Amazon UK. I also had another resin before, which I was very happy with. You want them on that is flowing nicely, never clogs, and I think this one's nice as well. I don't think the other one was still available when I ordered this one here. As I said before, I'm not an expert, so I don't know whether you can use washi tape or some masking tape, you know, even from painting, but I'm just using this tape. What I've done though is I have used my craft knife to cut this in half in a few layers because I don't want to waste this. And then when I'm using it, I'm making sure that the even side will actually sit at the bottom so that this is not wonky. So I'm trying to peel it off again. I tell you what, I don't think the microphone will pick up the noise of the storm, but it's horrendous outside. Really, really bad. Oh, it hasn't cut properly here, but it doesn't matter. So, I'm not sure how much I need actually. I think I will start putting this on, and what I want to do is, I might just peel it off. Even if I've got a bit more, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'll tell you what, I will stick it on. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to have this level at the bottom, and I'm going to work my way around, and the aim is not to have any gaps. The problem is it's very sticky on my fingers, but not so sticky on my MDF. So also there is a thread here. I must be mindful that that doesn't end up on the coaster. So I'm really just pressing this down here now. and then I can probably judge how much I need, and then I can cut this off. So the reason why I'm setting this on this tile is that I know I've got it flush at the bottom, and if I've got it flush on the bottom, I'm quite positive that I have got this even on the edges. But it does want to fold in a little bit here, so I'm just having a look what the issue there is. Obviously, if your surface on the side isn't even, then this might not sit flush, and that's why I recommended not just having a wood slice, but something that's been manufactured. Also, on one of these, I gave it a little bit of a clean up with my emery board, with my nail file, so just for this to be flush. So again, I'm pressing this down, because the last thing I want is for the resin to seep underneath this tape and then running down on the edges. I want to keep this as clean as possible. So I will cut this bit here off, otherwise that will end up in my project. So what I will do in the other room and not on camera is I will put my resin all over the top. I want to make sure that everything is covered, which is not too bad because these are really thin. These here, I need a thick layer really of that. And I will use my toothpick, sorry, brain fog. Make sure I've got it all the way to the edges. And this time, especially with these here, because they will have lots of air still in these, I will leave this to sit for a moment before I will actually set it with my UV lamp. I think that's important. Yeah, same with these here. They will need quite a bit of resin to make up for the height here. Again, I put a name down here. I also put some stickers on there, so I need to wait for them to dry. Rather than I thought putting the glitter into the resin, I thought I'll have this sit here. Oh, and these here with the hops, I will add a little sentiment that I will print out with my Dymo printer. I've got some gold tape or silver tape, so I'll have a little play with that. But as I said, I will do this in another room away from my cat, somewhere where I can open the window. And this is why I've got a tile underneath. This levels this, so be mindful that you don't have it on a surface where it doesn't sit even, because then your surface won't be even afterwards. So sorry that I can't show you this on camera, but oh, pardon me. But yeah, I think this will, well, works normal as normal UV resin. If you've never done that before, have a look at some other videos. I have set my coaster with my UV lamp. As you can see, the glue does show up a little bit there against the light. I'm not too bothered. I've also got one big bubble there. I did leave this on the tray, as I said, to rest a little bit. This is also self-leveling, which is great. So I just tapped it along a little bit, and I tried to pop some of the air bubbles with my lighter, but then I singed the tape here, which didn't really help with that edge here. But I can take this off now. Oh, I did it about, I think mine is 2 minutes long, so I did about 4 rounds, so 8 minutes. It didn't need that long, I think. So I won't reuse this because I'm not quite sure how well that will actually hold up. So as you can see, I knew that here where I used my toothpick, word gone again, I knew I was messing it up a little bit here. I tried to shove it a little bit too much against the tape. So what I will do is I will just get my emery board out, oops, and I will just smooth out the edges. But I'm just going into this direction. I don't want to go onto the coaster. And then afterwards, when that is even, I will just paint the edge here. I could use the metallic gilding polish to paint this edge as well of the resin. I'm sure that would work, but I'd rather leave it clear. So yeah, just a little project. If I finish these today, I will include them in the video. If I don't, well, I definitely want to finish this one. And I'm not quite sure whether I've got enough resin to finish those, because as I said, they will have to be filled really deeply. But this here and this one need to go into a gift, well, this one into a parcel and this one into a gift bag today. So I will definitely finish that. But yeah, another little idea. I said maybe have second thoughts about using that glue there, or I don't know why it sort of I must have dropped the flower there first, and as I said, I can see where I stuck the letters down there. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's homemade, you know, it's something sort of personal, which I think is really nice. So as I said, I'm tidying this up and I'm going to do the outro now. So yeah, if you like this idea, please give me a thumbs up. Don't use me for reference though for the whole, you know, UV resin crafting. There are definitely more experienced crafters out there. Also, please, no comments about, you know, precautions you should take. I'm well aware I should be wearing a face mask, I should be wearing gloves, but I think if you're a little bit sort of mindful how you work with this medium, you're actually okay. I think so. I've never had any issues really. But use a well ventilated room. So I went into another room. I had the window open, although the storm is getting worse outside. But yeah, that's always something to be mindful of. Yeah, and I'll see you again soon with another video. I'm just popping in again to show you this before the daylight goes. So I was more or less successful with these stickers here. The only thing was, as soon as I put the UV light on, what happened was the edges came off, and then some air sort of, you know, came from out there. So I've got some quite big bubbles here. Also, it was really tricky to see when I had actually reached the level where I had covered these. And when I'm touching this, it feels like there is not a very thick layer of resin on this actually, but I'm really happy with this, and I'm sure the recipient will as well, my friend, because, you know, shakers still work. I will say to my friend though to use this only for cold drinks. I'm not so sure how this thinner layer will actually hold up. But yeah, I painted it as with the other ones on the side, but I painted all the way around there, even on the resin. But yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not meant to be. I really like this. Yeah, quite big bubbles here and there, but I think it just adds to the charm. And it's, yeah, it's not what this is all about. It's about it being personal. So also colored these here also on the resin here on the side. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this as well. So yeah, I thought I'd just show you this here. So if you do want to use some stickers like this, stick them down with something proper. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to use any glue that's got solvent in it, because that would have just dissolved the back of the sticker. I think this might not be the best one in hindsight, because, you know, you can see the stains here. I think it's because this has got water in it. I'm sure it's a water-based glue, so I'm not quite sure what I can recommend for this. And these bubbles, that didn't come out until I put the UV light on. So, but yeah, yeah, it's really up to you. Have a play with it. I will put, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned that, I will put a link to the resin I'm using below if it's still available on Amazon UK.